Hey guys, I thought I would, a little late doing this, leaning back too, I'm trying to relax here. Um, I'm a little late doing this, but I really need to do this because I need to get my opinion out there. Uh, I want to talk about Friday the 13th, the remake. I'm putting this under my fucked up reviews. It's not going to be as elaborate as the Psycho remake one, but, Friday the 13th is my favorite, horror movie, the original one. So when I heard they were remaking it, I was pissed off to say the least. Um, so I decided, after I saw the previews, after I saw him running and shit, I was just like, this movie looks fucking terrible. So I go to see it anyway. I had a free ticket because I had bought the documentary. His Name Was Jason, which was okay. So I had a free ticket in there for $10 because I bought it at Walmart, and so I got it in free. Um, I just want to say this right now. I've only seen two movies this year, in 2009 so far, of 2009 films, and Friday the 13th is the worst one. The other one was My Bloody Valentine, which I thought was a really good movie. I have a feeling Friday the 13th is going to be one of my five worst movies of 2009 because it was terrible. First of all, it's not a remake of anything. I keep seeing these reviews on YouTube where people are like, it's a remake of 2, 3, and 4. No, it's not. I mean, except for him wearing the fucking burlap sack on his head for part of the movie, there is nothing that references 2, 3, or 4. The first 3 minutes of the movie is the remake of part 1. And by the way, just before I go any further, I'm going to give away spoilers in this because it's not going to spoil anything. All right. Okay. Let's go through this. Okay. First 20 minutes of the movie is establishing characters that are then killed off, and then we have to establish new characters later, which is kind of what Death Proof did, which is why Death Proof sucked a lot. In the beginning of the movie, the first 20 minutes, they're searching for mysterious pot that they're going to sell. Okay. I liked the opening, I did. I liked how they, how intense the killings were, but there was just something about them going to find pot. Watch the Friday the 13th movies. None of them are about pot. Yes, there are teenagers doing drugs in the woods, but none of them are about pot. It's just that the weed is there, So they find like 20,000 pounds of weed in the woods. I mean, they find all these fucking plants for no reason. Anyway, let me get off this. So, Friday the 13th movies, if you watch them from the 80s, are very well known for having a lot of nudity in them. Because basically Jason kills anybody who has sex, because that's how he ended up drowning. So, they overdid it. I know they were paying homage to the films by having nudity in the movie, but they overdid it. It was this like, oh, we're alone. Ooh, here's my boobs. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm not gay. I like boobs just like anybody else, but they just overdid it way too much. Then they had like all these black jokes too. They had the one black guy, and they had to keep making jokes about the one black guy in the movie. It's just irritates the shit. I mean, they use this movie as an excuse to make terrible homages to horror films. They didn't even do it cleverly. I mean, it was just done terribly. Jason runs, which, I mean, I got used to, but, like, I mean, he fucking kidnaps some girl and keeps her hostage, and then the reason he did it was because she looked like his mom, but they never really established that very well, because they kind of do, where they go to Jason's childhood home and they find a locket with a woman in it, and the guy's like, oh yeah, this looks like you, but they never explain who the fuck is in the locket. It's just a woman that looks like her. So unless you know the mythology of the films, the end of the movie when she, gets him to stop killing the guy by showing him the locket, doesn't make any fucking sense to anybody who doesn't know the mythology of the movies. The ending was just fucking terrible. I mean, like, the original movie had the jump scare where Jason jumps out of the water and, grabs Adrienne King and pulls her down into the water. Well, as the movie ended, I was like, well, something's going to happen, because they're going to try to do the surprise ending. All that happened was he busts through the fucking dock and it just cuts to black. I mean, they were just trying too damn hard. I mean, and then, I mean, this movie, I had slight hope in it because first of all, Michael Bay produced it, which no matter what, he's raped my childhood. I mean, he is the reason why we have all these fucking horror remakes. But I thought it might be good because usually his production company makes the better of the horror remakes. Like I liked Amityville Horror, I liked The Hitcher. You know, I didn't like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I mean, it's usually Platinum Dunes usually does a decent job remaking these horror movies. So that was one part of it that I thought I would probably like it. Then the guys who wrote it wrote Freddy vs. Jason, which I really liked. So I was like, good, this movie's could be good. But then they got the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I was just like, well, this might not be good. And I was right. It's not a remake of anything. It's just another one of those movies where they, like Prom Night, like April Fool's Day, where they just take the title and then make like some original fucking story. Uh, like I said, there's no elements. There's no paying homage to the films except for the nudity and drugs. You know, like I said, at the end of the movie, they push his body into the fucking lake, and then they throw the mask in there. The mask, you know, slowly floats down to the bottom of the lake. And I said, you know, I know they did it in Jason Goes to Hell, but I think they should have had Freddy's glove down there, just because the movie technically takes place in 2009, so it takes place after Freddy versus Jason. So Jason's glove and his entire arm at that should be at the bottom of the lake still. So I mean, they could have done that and paid homage to it, and they didn't. So I honestly have no fucking clue what the hell they were thinking. I will never see that movie again. I will tell everybody I know never to see that movie. Everybody I know hated that movie. The person I was with that night hated it. I have never hated a movie so much where I wanted to get up and leave the theater. I mean, if I hadn't been with somebody, if I'd been there by myself, I would have left. That movie was horrible. I was falling asleep watching it. I don't know if it'll replace my number one worst movie of all time, which is Hannibal Rising, but it might take number two place. Next, you know, after Hulk was probably better than that, which is my number two worst movie ever made. So I would avoid Friday the 13th, the remake, as much as humanly possible because you do not want to waste your fucking time with that. So that's my 2 cents in the movie. Awful movie. Thank you.